Joining me now is Bill Browder. He's head of the Global Magnitsky Justice Campaign. He's the CEO of Hermitage Capital Management. He's the author of the important book, Freezing Order, a true story of Russian money laundering, murder, and surviving Vladimir Putin's wrath. Bill, thank you. It's good to see you. It's worth noting that you are in a similar category to Vladimir Kara-Murza. You're one of those people whom Vladimir Putin would very much like to see arrested. He has used your name in public to that end. And sadly, you and I both talked to Vladimir before he went back, and we're both very worried that this is exactly what would happen.
Indeed. Vladimir was with me 3 days before he went back to Russia. We were having dinner in London, and I begged him. I said, please don't go back to Russia. We had already gone through these two near-death experiences where they tried to kill him through poison, and the war had already started, and I said, I don't want to spend the next 10 years of my life trying to get you out of prison. And he said, sometimes, things are more important than you and me, Bill. This war has to be, we have to stand up against Putin, against this war. How can I lead the Russian people to stand up against Putin if I'm not willing to go to my home country? And he went back. And I watched him on your show that day, and I was just counting the days until he was going to leave the country. And then the very next day, he was arrested. And I should point out that he's not just arrested, but he's being really mistreated in prison. He suffers from all sorts of ailments from those two poisonings. Specifically, he can no longer feel his feet anymore from nerve damage. He can barely walk because he can't feel his feet. He's losing sensation in the left side of his body, and he shouldn't be in jail. He will die in jail. This is not a 25-year sentence. This is a death sentence for Vladimir Kara-Murza.
So I look back in history, as you do, at Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela and a number of other Eastern European leaders who went to prison, and that did fortify the movement against a repressive regime. That's what Vladimir wants, right? He's got a wife, he's got children. He does not want to be said. They've not seen him in the entire time that he's been incarcerated. He wants and begs and talks about a free, democratic Russia. Tell me about that, the effort to get that, because most of Russia's major leaders are now imprisoned.
It's absolutely correct. So Vladimir is in prison facing the longest sentence. Alexei Navalny, who many viewers may know the name of, who's the movie about him won the Academy Award. Ilya Yashin. Basically, there's three things that could happen to you if you're in the opposition in Russia. You're either in prison, you're dead, or you're in exile. There's absolutely no oxygen whatsoever left for any type of dissent against Vladimir Putin. And what that shows is how scared Putin is of any type of alternative thought, because he's taking Russia down a very dark road. And people like Vladimir Kara-Murza are trying to stop it. And Vladimir is a symbol, and he is also in the same category as Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Václav Havel, Nathan Sharansky. Yep. These are all famous political prisoners. He is now a historic, famous political prisoner, and he will be a symbol for everything that is not Putin, everything that Russia should be instead of what it is right now.
I just want to illustrate, and of course your book, Red Notice, illustrates this very well, your first book, but back when you first learned you were in trouble in Russia, you got out, but you had an accountant sort of pursuing the things that you were looking for. That accountant died in custody at the hands of the authorities, Sergei Magnitsky, and that is the namesake for the Global Magnitsky Justice Campaign. Vladimir's lawyer has now left the country because he was warned of threats against him. That's kind of how it works in Russia, right? They go after people, and sometimes it's related to what they're investigating, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's the kind of thing that unjust governments just use to throw people in jail, to threaten them, to intimidate them.
Yeah, there are literally no rules. Journalists are open targets. Lawyers are open targets. There are no rules. Of course, we all know about the Wall Street Journal reporter who was just arrested. As you mentioned, Vadim Prokhorov, who's Vladimir Kara-Murza's lawyer, who has been his lawyer for many years, and he had to flee the country. I was just with him in Washington earlier this week on Capitol Hill as he was describing what's happened to him. And I should also point out a really ominous connection, which is that you mentioned my lawyer, Sergei Magnitsky, who was arrested, tortured for 358 days and killed in a Russian prison. The person who was in charge of the prison where he was tortured is now in charge of the prison where Vladimir Kara-Murza is being kept and being tortured. And he is also the person that Vladimir Kara-Murza, together with me, we lobbied for him to be put on the Magnitsky list, the sanctions list. And so if there was, this is a conflict of interest of massive proportions. The person who Vladimir Kara-Murza got sanctioned is now in charge of his torture in prison.
The story is very hard to talk about, Bill, but thank you. You and Vladimir and I have been on this show together in the past, and I think he knows and will appreciate that we are keeping his story alive. Bill Browder is the head of the Global Magnitsky Justice Campaign and the author of the book Freezing Order, a true story of Russian money laundering, murder, and surviving Vladimir Putin's wrath. He's also the author of Red Notice. These two books are required reading for the world we're in right now.